Hello, Facebook Ads people. I'm Konstantinos, and this is the Facebook Ads Breaking News Podcast. Hello, fellow friends. So, we are here for another podcast. Just a heads up, the Greek Orthodox Easter is coming, so I don't believe the next week, the other week, most probably 1 week, we will not have a podcast. But for sure, we will have in the next week one. Maybe we will not have it in the week after. So welcome everybody. It's another podcast about Facebook ads. Today we're going to talk more about Pixel and how to train it and how it helps us and what is our ultimate goal with Pixels. But before that, let's talk a little bit about what is happening right now with the ad accounts. To be honest with you, I can see all of my ad accounts recovering super fast, especially the trained pixels from what happened in the middle of March, which was a very bad period across accounts. And I'm seeing consistent good results for the good accounts. The smaller accounts with the new pixels, and this is the reason that we make this video today about the pixels and everything, they are struggling a little bit more. But you know, I'm always up for the challenge. One thing that really makes me happy is that I see more and more people coming to my YouTube videos that they spend 5K, 6K, 7K. And this is the reason that we have this channel, because we want to have advanced content and not beginner content. Okay, we will make from time to time some beginner friendly videos, but the ultimate goal of this account is of this YouTube channel, I guess, it's to have a very strong community with people that they understand and they also have experience with Facebook ads. Now, this is going to give us a slower growth, but it doesn't matter. Before we go to the main topic, which is the pixel and everything, I would like to discuss about one thing, and then we will go to the main topic and then to questions. And these are the things that I gathered for today. Is more and more people talk to me through the YouTube channel. I go to the accounts and I see people who are disappointed from agencies that they're just running 3 campaigns. One testing campaign, one ABO testing campaign, which are spending a lot of money, one campaign, which is a cold traffic campaign with one ad set, and then just one retargeting. So we analyze several times why the agencies do that, because they don't care about the individual results of another account or having a good relationship with someone. They care about the masses and having another account, and if this thing is working, okay, but they work with volume. So they don't care about that. You cannot, and to be honest with you, there was this other podcast that somebody was mentioning that he was having very good results with having several campaigns, like $50 or $60 campaigns, and having 100 of them, and then having like very good results. Well, I'm telling this for the past 5 years. I don't know why people were amazed when somebody tells it in a podcast. Maybe I don't have the luxury of being so famous so that these things can go faster to more people, but still, I don't believe in the consolidation in other accounts, and I believe that you should run a lot of campaigns. I totally believe that if you're in a situation and you are listening to this podcast that you're having just 3 campaigns or 1 campaign and you're spending a lot of money in your account, this is not the correct way to go, and you should change it, because you need to have more campaigns in order to target more hot pockets. That being said, I know that there are a lot of agencies out there that they claim that they know how to do Facebook ads, but they don't. And the problem is that there's a lot of fake credibility in what we do, and a lot of people are going to say a lot of things. So before you even, and to be honest with you, if they show you 1 or 2 other accounts, it doesn't prove anything, because maybe it's a good ad account that doesn't need any effort. It doesn't mean that they're good with Facebook ads. Try to see some proof if you want to work with someone, or at least try to understand what they're saying and if it makes sense. The reasoning that this is what Facebook proposes is not something that makes sense. But on the other hand, you can tell me that Konstantinos, they can come and they can tell us that, look, This is what we have seen that is working very well across the accounts. Well, you can say nothing about that. And sadly, there are a lot of people that they say this kind of stuff. And I was having a discussion with a person the other time that these people, they are actually proposing that they are going to work for you for free. And guess what? If you accept that, you're just working with the worst of the worst, because there's no way that somebody who knows how to do Facebook ads is going to work for free unless it's a very exceptional case and one ad account that he believes a lot to it. But on the other hand, the only thing that they want to do is just to get trained with your own money, and this is why they don't want to get paid, because they want to get your money, spend it, and actually learn how to do Facebook ads. So when somebody is offering you to work for free, if the results are not there, either they have seen it in a course for having a Facebook ads agency, or they have seen it as a way of actually being able to spend your money and get experience without caring, basically, what's going to happen. And if it's going to work, it's going to work. It's going to be fine. But if it doesn't, who cares for them? Now that we cleared this out, because I had some discussions with people that they had bad experiences with agencies, and also the structure that they have 3 accounts, 3 campaigns and everything, you can check my videos and stuff, and you can see that in this channel we propose something completely different, and we propose of having a lot of campaigns and spreading your budget so that you can be able to have better results, and it's working flawlessly, at least for us. Now, let's go to our main topic. The reason that I want to actually talk about this is because one of the most common questions that I get, the first question that I get is, and we have, I think, questions like that today, I'm having a CBO campaign which is working. Can I add more ads inside? I'm having an Advantage Plus that is working. Can I add more ads inside? And the answer is no, as a simple answer, but we will explain it later. But the second biggest question that I get, it's one similar to Christoph here, which says, from the end of October, I was selling on my account using creative ads set up with 2 campaigns, each with 4 ad sets, where each ad set was a separate interest of about 3.5 million recipients. He talks about potential reach. Everything was working fine, but in mid-February, these ads started to work less and less when I switched them off. So it was working less, and then he closed them. He turned them off. I then created 2 new campaigns on Advantage Plus for 2 products, and this is also working poorly. Should I put all my products in one Advantage Plus ad, or maybe the pixel is too fresh and I should go back to creative ads? Now, this question actually made me understand that we need to explain a little bit of how the pixel is working and the API, okay? And first of all, before we do that, I would like to let you know that there is one interview that I have with the CEO of Wicked Reports, Scott Cosellier, which you can go and you can watch, and we go very deeply inside reporting and to what is Pixel, how it works and everything. I think you will get a lot of good information there. So what is the Pixel? The Pixel is a unique code that we get from the Facebook, and we put it on our site so that it's going to be able to report what people that they're clicking on the advertisements on the platform, what they're doing when they enter to our site. So all of this is being reported back, and if we're optimizing, for example, for a purchase event, if a purchase is being reported back, it says that Konstantinos was the one that had the purchase, so Facebook says, okay, let's find more people like him. What most people didn't know before iOS, because after iOS everybody started talking about Pixel and API, and there were people that they were getting more educated about it. What they didn't know before that, it was that the Pixel gets trained and the API. So the more you're getting sales, the more it's going to understand the ideal avatar of your clients. Now, this is good and bad. For example, if you're having a very broad audience, for example, the traveling niche, it's very difficult to train a pixel to a traveling niche. If you are targeting a lot of countries, it's very difficult to target a niche for a lot of countries with different demographics and everything. If you are targeting a sub niche, it's very difficult because it's going to be very small and most probably you won't have interests. We will talk a little bit with different cases because I have some examples that I think that they're a little bit interesting. But before that, just so you know, the more sales that you get, the more your pixel understands the ideal avatar of your clients. What is the ultimate goal of its account? And this is also answering the question of Christoph here. So Advantage Plus is a broad targeting campaign. It's a consolidation method, but a broad targeting campaign. Broad targeting is the ultimate goal of each ad account. So what do we need in order to do broad targeting? And by broad targeting, I mean, for example, that you don't target men and women 1865. If you see on your breakdown of results that it's working for the ages of 18 to 55 women, you're not targeting men, and you're targeting only women, and we call this broad targeting. Because it is broad, we're not using any interest. So initially, this is the ultimate end goal, so that you will be able to target very big audience, and then your pixel is going to have the power to go inside there and pickpocket and pick the actual people that they're going to be buyers, and they're going to help you get more sales, more sales, more sales. Now, let's go to the journey from the beginning though. Let's say that you are starting with a new pixel. How can you train it? And then we will discuss about different pixels and the cases. First of all, you're going to start with interests. That being said, there are some niches that you cannot target interests, which means that you have to go with general interests. I will name one example. The biggest example here is the Christian niche. The Christian niche used to have interests like Jesus, Christianity, gospel music, and all of this kind of stuff that you could use. But all of these were available up to the previous spring. After the previous spring and what happened with the removal of a lot of interests like the ones that were about the LGBTQ or Jesus and stuff, so that it's not going to target people that they are part of specific groups. We had the removal of these interests also, and let me tell you that 150 interests or whatever, they have been removed. Now, that means that there are niches that you cannot target anymore with this kind of interests, which is the first thing that we do when we start with a new pixel. And there are others that you can, like fishing, for example, you can still find interest and target it. When you're having an audience and a niche which you cannot target with interests, that means two things. First of all, that you need to spend a lot of money in order to train it, or you need to have organic traffic in order to keep getting sales to your pixel and then start doing eventually lookalikes. So the first step, which is doing interests when you can, to some niches that you cannot use interests, it has to be skipped in a way. Either with spending a lot of money and just burning money to very big interests. For example, in the case of Christianity, it can be Justin Bieber, for example, who is also somebody who expresses his feelings about Christianity stuff, or Kanye West and stuff like that, in order to find some people from the sub niche of Christianity inside the Kanye West niche. Now, the situation is that either you will burn a lot of money, as I said, or you will have another way of getting traffic and training your pixel up to the point that you will be able to do lookalikes. When we can target with interests, because on the second one you just wait and you just do a simpler retargeting and you wait for the pixel to get ready. When you are having, by the way, the pixel, I forgot to say that is going to be removed on 2024, so we're going to be left only with API, so you should use both of them. Basically, Pixel is browser to server reporting, and API is server to server reporting. It's not as fast as the Pixel, but it's more effective. And right now we have both of them working in accounts, especially for Shopify accounts, in order to have the best possible reporting. But we know from Facebook that the Pixel is going to be removed eventually, and we're just going to have the APIs because it's more, it's having better reporting. And if you want to know my opinion about the programs that they can help you with better tracking and everything, you have to watch the Wicked Reports interview with the CEO, Scott. When we are having interests and we can actually go down this path and have this kind of option, we start with smaller interests, so interests of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, maybe 5, 10 million, something like that. And then when we have consistent results with that, we go to bigger ones. Then when we have consistent results with that, we go to bigger ones. Don't forget that when you do CBO campaigns, you should not put on the different ad sets completely different potential reach. So if you put a potential reach in one ad set of 30 million and in another one only 2 million in an ad set, Facebook is going to spend the money to the one that has the biggest potential reach. So be careful on that if you want to actually be able to do it efficiently. The other thing that I need to mention, and of course you have the crazy method, which if you have some success in a bigger audience, you can go and you can do the crazy method in order to find success to the hot pockets of this big interest. Another thing that I want to mention is the grouping. So let's say that you have a very small interest, like 200K, 300K, and you don't want to run it alone. You can group it with other interests and create a bigger audience, but you have to be careful and you have to group same size of audiences, because if you group one audience of 200K and another audience of 10 million, Facebook within the ad set is going to spend all the money just to the 10 million. So if you want to test efficiently the 200K audience, group together 200K, 300K, 400K, 200K, 300K, and group them together until you create something big enough, like 3-4 million. Now that we passed the phase of the interest, after the point that you're having 100, 150, 200, 300 sales, depending on how broad your niche is, you're going to start testing lookalikes. You're going to start with 1% lookalikes, and you're going to do CBO campaigns with, you're going to put in one ad set 1%, in the other one 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. You can put 5%. You can put 3%, 2%, At the start with smaller audiences also again for the lookalikes, and then if something is working, integrate it to the crazy method. After that point, you have to start working with the crazy method and 10% lookalikes or 5% lookalikes when it's working very well with the smaller ones, and do that in order to get more sales with your bigger lookalikes. And the last thing is that when lookalikes are working like this, you do the stacked lookalikes. So you go and you stack 5% add to cart, 5% initial checkout, 5% purchase, 5% view content, 5% top 25 visitors. You stack them in the same ad set, and then you do crazy method, and this is called the stacked lookalikes method, which is working very well. But it needs some good trained pixels because the audiences are very big. Like in the United States, when you stack 10% lookalikes, it's more than 50-60 million. The last thing that I want to mention is the broad targeting. After you have all of these results, you can break down your results. You can see ages and demographics, what is working, and then just run broad targeting, crazy method with this kind of thing in a CBO. And of course, now that we have Advantage Plus, you need to start testing Advantage Plus from the point, in my opinion, since day one, you have to test it in another account. If it's not working because it's a broad targeting method, go back to the interests and then go to lookalikes. When you go to lookalikes, test again the Advantage Plus. When you go to broad targeting, if broad targeting is working, Advantage Plus is also going to work. So the ultimate goal of each ad account here when you're training a pixel, it's to be able actually at some point to go from interest to lookalikes and then to broad, or from lookalikes to broad targeting if you don't have initial interests. And we mentioned the different ways. So this answers the question of Christoph here, which says, should I put all my products in one Advantage Plus ad, or maybe this pixel is too fresh and I should go back to creative ads? It's not about the creative ads or the one ad set or whatever. It's all about that Advantage Plus is a broad targeting method, and if you have the option of doing lookalikes or interests because the Advantage Plus is not working, then yes, you should go back to doing this kind of ads until you are able to train your pixel enough to move to Advantage Plus, which is going to help you scale and target in a very good, efficient way broad targeting. Of course, you know that I like to use a mix of them, especially in other accounts that are spending a lot of money. Yeah, here is your answer. I want to mention two last things, just so that I can give a little bit more examples about the pixels. One of them is I have some recent clients which they have the acne, the skin problem, This is why I wear my t-shirt today, acne. But the whole thing is that the acne is a niche that the biggest problem that it has is that it is a part of a broader niche. For example, we have a company which is called La Roche-Posay. For example, it's a French company. And in this company, they have also a acne skin treatment line. When you target La Roche-Posay, because they're not interested to go specifically for acne, when you target this, then you're trying to get a sub audience from this full audience of La Roche-Posay, which is also on the acne niche. And you do this with Avène, and you do this with another product, and another product, and another product, and another product. And you try to throw money to these interests, trying to train your pixel with the sales that it's going to get so that eventually it can understand and go to lookalike audiences. This is one example to understand. For example, the acne is a very difficult niche because you don't have interests, basically, okay? On the other hand, it's a very easy niche to go for fishing and try immediately with audiences, as we have explained in one of my videos about audience research. Now, this has advantages and disadvantages. The advantage here is that if you manage to go past the face and training your pixel into the acne skincare niche, then that means that you're going to be, let's say, in a very close circle of monopoly between players that they're having trained pixels for the acne products, and there is not easy for new players to enter the market. On the other hand, for the fishing niche, if you're doing that, that means that there is always going to be new people coming, from dropshippers to someone spending $5-10 per day. Still, all of them together, they are going to compete, and the CPM is going to be much higher in these niches because simply there are a lot of people that they can just enter the market by using interests, while the others, they have to do a lot of effort in the Christian niche or in the acne niche in order to be able to train their pixel with organic ways, affiliate marketing, or by spending a lot of money in the platform to get these random sales here and there that eventually they will train the pixel. Another thing is the Christianity niche. I have a brand which is very well known. To be honest with you, after the removal of the interests, this brand is now part of just a very close circle of other Christian brands that nobody can touch because there are not a lot of people that they can enter the market because there are no interests basically now. And they have a very good trained pixel, and I can tell you that their CPMs right now is on $3, $4, $5, and we're spending 200,000 per month easily, and we're scaling every time. So yeah, good for them because they had a trained pixel, but for someone who's starting now, you need to research and you need to see what kind of niche you are going to follow, if you can target it and if you can enter the market. And if you don't have a plan or a lot of money to burn on Facebook to train your pixel, well, you need to see what kind of e-commerce store you will do and what kind of a niche you're going to follow, because it doesn't mean that if you have an idea that you can actually market it efficiently on Facebook. I hope that this explains a lot about the pixel and the API and how they get trained. Just one thing to finish with the main topic today. There are a lot of times people that are asking, how many sales do I need to train my pixel? There is no such thing as training completely a pixel. It's always going to be a room for improvement on the pixel. But let me tell you that when we talk about one item store, if you get 500 to 1000 sales, then that means that your pixel is trained. If you go to a niche store, one store that is having several items but in one niche, let's say a cat store, okay? Depending on the niche and how big it is, or if it has a lot of competition inside and everything, the moment that you can train that by having 10,000 sales, let's say, okay? And they have to be across all of the products, or if they are just on one or two bestsellers, then you're training your pixel to this one, two bestsellers. Okay, it will understand the whole niche, but it's going to be on one or two these bestsellers, mainly training for that. And sadly, if you have a store which is having a lot of sales across a lot of countries and across a lot of, let's say an Amazon store, okay? you need to have at least 100,000 sales across a lot of products and across a lot of different niches if you want to say that you are going to have a pixel, which basically is going to sell everything to everyone, okay? It's going to be a pixel for selling everything. That's all about the pixel and the API. I hope that it explains it. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Now, let's go to your questions. I don't have too many this time because obviously the previous podcast we did, by the way, I've seen very good numbers to the previous podcast. You liked it and you liked the fact that I was answering questions. Just so you know, it was very stressful for me because I was trying to answer 40 questions in just 1 hour. I wasn't so successful because it took me 1 hour, 20 minutes. But I'm a little bit proud. You know, it was 40 questions, so I did fine. And if we ever gather a lot, we will do part 2, part 3, whatever. So, what do we have this week? Zen Life Products. This is my new friend. He came to... By the way, here I see, so Christophe is a person that I know from the channel a lot of times. We have Zen Life Products, which is also somebody that I have seen commenting a lot. It says, would it make sense to have just one good ad per ad set and duplicate it several times, then letting Facebook find hot pockets for this ad? Because I found that when I combine different converting ads into one ad set, most of the time Facebook spends more of the budget on a non-converting ad. Well, you're making an assumption here, first of all, but let me tell you, if we talk about a campaign which is on a CBO, I would propose you to do dynamic creative ads, which means that you can use 10 of them with dynamic creatives and it's going to be one ad, but dynamic creative ads. If we're talking about Advantage Plus is a consolidation method working with one, but it's very good to have more than 10 options there so that it can choose the correct one. And if it doesn't choose the correct one, you have to go and you have to kill it so that it can choose the correct one with your help. The fact that you're saying that when you use a lot of them, it just uses the one that is not converting and stuff, it's just conspiracy theories or some bad experiences that you had, and this is how you translate it. Okay, don't make these kind of assumptions immediately. Yeah, so don't use one. Okay, more it's better, and when you're using one, you're limiting your options of actually being successful because you're having less options there. We need more options. Then we go to active digital marketing. There's another person who is commenting a lot. If we stack in 1% view content LLA and a 10% view content LLA in the same ad set, will Facebook prefer the 10% only? Is this why we stack only 1% with 1%? Yes, this is the only reason that we do it. I mentioned it earlier with the interest. The same thing happens with the lookalikes. You cannot put the lookalike of a 10% and 1% because then Facebook is going to favor the bigger audience. The same way that it's behaving on a CBO level, giving them more budget to the bigger audience, the same way it's actually behaving on inside an ad set, distributing the budget between different interests or between different lookalikes. So you need to have the same size so that, you know, it doesn't have the easy solution to go to the 10%. Okay, and I'm glad that you did this question because you mean that you understood what I was saying on the video. Then we have Bridge Garg, which is also another person that's commenting a lot, and he says, hi, thanks for the great content as always, thank you for watching. Also, I have been getting a feeling that Meta decides target sales for an account, and if that sales target is achieved earlier in the day, there will be less sales later in the day. Is my observation valid? If yes, how to increase Meta's target for an ad account? So, look what is happening. Because February was March was a very difficult month, now we have the new conspiracy theories. So everybody is disappointed by the ads or the things that they see because they're producing less, and they start making assumptions about things. Now, in order to explain this to you in a professional way, let's say that Facebook has a threshold for each ad account. We know that because we know that if we try to spend more, Facebook is giving us less ROAS across the account. This is fine. So in order for you to do that, you need to always, I recently uploaded a video which I'm showing that Facebook, I'm trying to scale, Facebook is stopping me, I'm going a little bit back. I'm trying to scale a little bit back. So let's say I'm having a $5,000 budget. I'm trying to go to 5,500. Facebook is giving me less ROAS. Okay, I'm dropping to 4,800. I'm getting my ROAS that I want again. I attack again. So at some point, it's going to let me do it. A lot of times it's going to let you do it during the attack period like Black Friday or whatever that may be. And this is going to help you increase your threshold and the amount of money that you spend with the ROAS that you actually want. Now, what you're saying about during the day, it is true that in a lot of accounts, Facebook is going to optimize for different hours of the day. If it sees that it's getting better results on the evening, it's going to spend a little bit more on the evening. This is something that I have observed, and I think that you are right here. But you also need to understand that Facebook is like a very big machine that says, okay, how many sales can we get today from people that they like fishing? 500 sales. It's just a stupid number, it's thousands. 500 sales. Okay, so we have how many accounts? We have 500 accounts that they are running ads. Okay, in this account we will give none, in this and stuff, and they do it based on how old the accounts are, how much money are they spending, and of course the offer that they have and if it's converting very well and everything. It also influences the results, because if your funnel is set and everything, they're not going to give you the best possible result. And they do this kind of, obviously nobody knows 100%, but let's say that they do something like this so that they can share the pie, as we say, and so that everybody can be happy and they can continue spending. That doesn't mean that you will get a fair thing, but it doesn't mean that if you deserve it, you're not going to get something good. So what we're trying to do is to try to give to Facebook the best excuses that it can have so that it can give us sales with our creatives and our strategies and everything. But know that we just influence, in my opinion, 20 or 30% of the game. Everything else is rigged, and Facebook is going to just scatter the sales among. So if I'm having the best product and the best offer and everything and stuff, I'm still not going to get 100% of the market. Like what is happening in the actual life, nobody gets all the share of the market, even the ones that they have the best offer. I hope that this answered it. About your observation, no, it's not valid. Facebook is not doing this on a daily level, it's doing it on a weekly level with the results and stuff, and decides how it's going to distribute the sales. And another thing that I want to mention is that when we're having bad results in the platform, we tend to see things and we tend to believe that this is the truth, but it's not. It's just a bad period, and we should not take into consideration everything that is happening in a bad period on Facebook. Now, because it's not representing the actual big picture. Now we have Alan. I think I know Alan also. Let's see. Hi Konstantinos, thanks for the content. Do you have any video specific for NewPixel explaining how to train it? I'm struggling with it. Well, Alan, if you are going to watch this podcast, I think that's going to help you a lot. But I'm answering here that I have a very good video with a case study. It's called How to Start with a NewPixel and a New Facebook Ad Account case study. And this video is actually showing how I have done it in one ad account. And I think that also in this podcast that we talk about the pixel, it's going to help a lot of people to understand more about it. Then we have a new guy who has actually made several questions to the channel lately. And he says, I noticed you changed the budget on a daily basis. Is this healthy for the campaign? Also, do you consider the 20% rule for increasing the budget? And this one, actually, it was the video that I was referring to later about spending a little bit more, slowing down, spending a little bit more, slowing down, or having a bad period, and Facebook is not giving me the results that I want with 5K spend. I'm lowering a little bit to 4,800. Still, I don't get the results. 4,700 by optimization and stuff. Yes, you can go and you can change the budget daily by watching the last 7 days. And you are doing this by optimization. You don't just go and you close all of your ads or just cripple all of your budgets. You just go to the campaigns that they're struggling a little bit based on the last 7 days and you lower these budgets. So about the 20% rule, to be honest with you, I don't follow it, okay? Because after some point you get a feeling about that account and you have spent some money to it and you know how to actually have the results that you should have and how it's behaving, how many money you should put in an ad set or in a campaign in order to produce results and everything, and what is the ideal cost per purchase and how to achieve it and all of that. So I'm not following the 20% rule, not because I think that it's stupid, it's basically Facebook theory. I just have seen that it's not helping my way of thinking in optimizing. I just like the feeling that I have with the ad accounts, and to be honest with you, I find it a little bit difficult to even apply it. For example, if you do $100, you're going to do 120 the next day, and then after 2-3 days you're going to do another 122. So it's going to be 100. Is it 22? 10%? It's 10, 12, 24, another 24. So you're going to do the next day, the next 2-3 days, you're going to see it again. And if it's working, you're going to do 146. In that way, it will take you forever to scale. What I would do is I would go from 100 to 150, see if it's working, then go to 200, from 200 to 300. I would do this kind of jumps. I think that the 20% is a little bit slow. And to be honest with you, I don't care so much about the learning phase, because they say that the 20% thing is about the learning phase. I have seen ads performing very well without the learning phase, so I'm not focusing at all in the learning phase. And I don't think that anyone should, especially the smaller ad accounts with smaller spend, because you don't need it. You can have very good results without passing the learning phase. Let's go to the next one. 8ROAS, a very good friend of the channel. It says, I've made this mistake. So I was talking, this is a new video that I made, and I was having an Advantage Plus, which was having a leading ad, which was a bad boy, let's say, and it was spending a lot of money for no reason. So what I have done is that I saw that when you close it, when you have the guts to close it and you are not afraid, maybe your whole campaign is going to be revitalized, which happened in this case study. And the problem is that a lot of people wouldn't close it because it was close to the break-even ROAS. So you have one Advantage Plus campaign which is having 1.85 ROAS, but you want 2 ROAS. If your leading ad is having that, your Advantage Plus campaign is never going to surpass the 2 ROAS, because all the money is going to go there. So you need to take a decision there. Either you're going to relaunch and try to optimize it all over again so that you can pass with your leading ad the 2 ROAS, or you're going to close it and you're going to try to find another 1 or 2 leading ads which are going to give you the ROAS that you want. But if you leave it, and this was the point of the video, it's never going to give you the ROAS that you want if the leading ads has less ROAS. I'm talking about Advantage Plus, if the leading ads has less ROAS from the one that you want. Now, 8ROAS. I've made this mistake multiple times in the past. Letting an ad run for too long and also turning off an ad too soon, distributing, disturbing the balance. Sorry, but my print has very small letters. In general, it has been harder for me to maintain a possible ROAS using Advantage Plus than with other methods. For me, for trained pixels 8ROAS, I think it's Advantage Plus. It can be super consistent. In smaller ad accounts, everything is not consistent. Even normal campaigns, they need to relaunch and they need some special care. But I'm always testing it and learning anyways, because I think it has so much potential. It does. In my experience, the algorithm almost always allocates too much budget to 1 or 2 ads, affecting ROAS for those and damaging ROAS. This is why you need to intervene in Advantage Plus. You have to watch all of my videos here, because, as I said, it's a campaign which is a consolidation method. It's actually focusing on 1 or 2. So if something doesn't go well, you need to close it. I've tried it using big budgets, small budgets, a lot of ads, fewer ads, killing fast, letting it run, etc. So he has done a very good testing. I've never had 3+ ROAS consistently, like when I use your crazy method for lookalikes or no interest CBOs. Well, maybe your pixel is not ready yet for super broad consolidation method. And by the way, you might say, yes, but why then it's working with your crazy method broad targeting? Because my broad method crazy targeting, my crazy method broad targeting, it's having several adsets which are the same on broad targeting, and most probably you're doing maybe a little bit of demographic tweaking, and even if you don't, you have the option of optimizing it with different hot pockets. In my opinion, that means that your pixel is not ready yet for a broad audience. For example, it's these ad accounts that whenever you do ads, something is going to work, and then it's all about ROAS. But if you do something like broad targeting Advantage Plus with one ad set, then your chances are less. And maybe you need a stronger pixel for that. For all of you watching this, it doesn't mean that if you have a new pixel, you should not try Advanced Plus, because it's working also with new pixels. And you should do what he is doing here. He's testing it with different ways and stuff, and eventually something is going to work. This is what you should do also. Amazing content as always, Konstantinos. Best on YouTube by far. Thank you, bro. Have a nice day. Then we have another one that says, hi, Konstantinos. It is not something very urgent that I'm writing to you here. I wanted to ask you if you have any materials about the differences between Advantage Plus campaigns vs conversion campaigns, when each should be used, and what type of ads are best suited for each carousel images collections. I think that so far we covered the different cases because of the pixel and everything, for when we use interest, when you use this and that, and based on all of that you get an idea. What I want to say here is that, because he's mentioning it, carousels, images and collections, I don't think that it makes any difference if you put carousel in Advanced Plus or collection here and there and stuff. It doesn't. And what I'm trying to say is this. Carousels, images and collections can work equally well with CBO, but equally well also with Advantage Plus campaigns. You don't have to use something differently. The only thing that I want to say here is that for catalog carousels, be careful in Advantage Plus, especially when you use different ads. If you have one carousel, if you have a catalog, if you have a video, if you have an image, I wouldn't use them together. Because the catalog is going to take all the budget. This is the reason that when you have, because I like to do Advantage Plus campaigns with more than $100, if you have $50 or $40, I would prefer if you do a catalog over there first before you test anything else, because catalog tends to work also with small budgets in Advantage Plus. Another thing that I want to mention here is that, okay, you're mentioning carousel images, collections and everything. You should not test together videos with images. Okay, when you put them in Advantage Plus or in a CBO campaign, dynamic ads or whatever, because the first thing that Facebook is watching is the engagement. When you are having the engagement as your first key metric, what Facebook is going to do is going to say, okay, in the image, somebody clicked, somebody liked or whatever and stuff, this is engagement. If it's getting a lot, I'm going to give it more budget so that it can get sales, because engagement means that people are interested to that. Perfect. When you have a video, 1 second of photo play as someone is scrolling down the feed, it is an engagement. That means that you should not test them together, because all of your budget is going to go to the videos, because Facebook thinks that videos are engaging more, so it's going to give them more budget. Have I seen images winning videos? Yes. It's not always the case, but it doesn't mean that if you do it, maybe an image is not going to win a video. But if you want to be fair, you should put them separately. I think that that question gives us also the chance to discuss about other things, like the things that we mentioned. Now, we have again Zen Life, and then the last question from Ride, which was his second question for the week. So, Zen Life Products question. If you have a higher budget than another advertiser using the same cost cap, will Facebook give you a higher percentage of traffic available at that cost cap? No, it's not. Facebook is deciding the threshold and how much sales is going to give you based on the total amount of money that you're spending on your ad account. And yes, we're competing with each other, and this is what the CPMs is for, and all of us we're bidding for a sale here and there. But if you have higher budget, Facebook is not going to favor you. Of course, you're going to take a little bit more sales because of that, but it's not necessarily something like I'm rich, give me more sales, and screw all the others who are the small fishes. It's not going to happen. Facebook is going to try to distribute it in a way that everybody is going to get something so that they will continue advertising. This is what you need to keep to your mind. So no, if you have the same cost cap and stuff, you're not going to get more sales. You are going to get more sales if you have more budget, but it's not about preference. It's about volume that you get because of your bigger budget. At the end of the day, Facebook is going to try to give equally, and then it depends also on your funnel and on your different ways of advertising and everything. Now, because don't forget that Facebook is giving you intention, okay? So it gives you people that it thinks that they are going to convert. If they are going to convert or not, then Facebook so it's sending this kind of traffic for people that it thinks that it can convert, especially if you have a trained pixel and all of that. But if they don't convert, it doesn't give a okay? Don't forget about that. Last question. I have continuously optimized my Advantage Plus campaign, which is performing well, by disabling underperforming ads until I reach a total of 4 ads in the campaign. Super normal structure to have 3 or 4 left in Advantage Plus. It is possible for me to add new ads to the same campaign in order to have more options when the existing ads stop performing well. Or would it be better for me to start a new campaign altogether? You need to start a new campaign. So as I said, in a CBO campaign and in an ABO campaign, not in an ABO, in a CBO campaign and an Advantage Plus campaign, Facebook and the campaign has already decided where it's going to spend the money based on engagement, based on sales. It doesn't matter. It has decided. So if you're spending $500 per day in an Advantage Plus, for example, it doesn't make any sense for you while the 500 is being spent among some ads to go and add inside there other ads. Even if you increase the budget, it doesn't make sense because Facebook has already decided where it's going to spend its money. So whatever you're going to add there is not going to be tested properly. You need to start a new campaign and you need to optimize it all over again in order to see which one is going to work and which one is not going to work. And don't do it, not even in CBO, don't do it in Advantage Plus because it's not fair for the testing that you're going to do. And at the end of the day, the budget has already been decided. The only thing that you can do is maybe introduce, so your main leading ad on Advantage Plus is not doing well. Kill it, introduce new ads inside, but and if this is the 90% of the budget, then yes, it's going to give some chance on the other. But still, it's a problematic situation. I don't see the reason of doing it, especially in a working campaign. If your campaign doesn't work, okay. You will have to start a new one anyway. Why keep using this one? I don't understand it. But at the end of the day, you might say, for example, that yes, I'm keeping the sales on the ad set level, so it's going to keep the same sales over there in order to optimize. I don't think that the Advantage Plus is working like this. If it was working like this, the crazy method for Advantage Plus, it wouldn't work. But for some reason it's working. So in my opinion, I don't believe that it's working like an ABO campaign, but I think that it's a completely different structure that they did for this kind of campaign. This is why it has completely different results from doing. If you do exactly the same thing as we do with Advantage Plus with a normal conversion ads campaign, and we have only one ad set with several ads, it's not going to work in the same way. I have tested it. Advantage Plus, yes, it's a consolidation method, which is something that Facebook was saying for all of these years, but it's not the same as an ABO simple campaign with an ad set and several ads, just so you know. So no, my answer is no, do a new campaign. We're done with your questions. Let's go to one thing that caught my attention. It's for Freelancer Diaries. For what I have seen. So there was a clever guy over here in Upwork that he was scamming people And uh, the first thing that I have seen, it was saying Shopify experts for small tasks, and it has 1 star from the freelancer, and he gave 3 stars to the freelancer. The guy who employed him gave him 3 stars, and says, I have done all work. After that, he well canceled the contract, fraud client, and he has a fixed price of $5. And then I was watching this, and I watched another one, which was actually funny. Funny for me, not for the person. Now it says QA website plus mobile. It says, the client is a scammer. Proposed a project for $150 and that paid me only $5. Talk to him about the payment and he keeps lying that the person handling my project is sick now, it's 2 months now and still no updates. Not even replying to me anymore. The client also had a history of negative reviews of scamming people, which is the one that I read you earlier. Now experience it myself. Don't try to work with this client. He paid the $5, then keeps telling me I'm already paid, which is the full payment. Do not work with this scammer. So I have seen after that there's another job with 5, but there was no comments. This is why I didn't put in another job with 5. This person was hiring people. He put them do the job, and then he was paying them $5 and closing the contract. Well, for me it's funny. For these people it wasn't funny. It was an unfortunate thing. But anyway, that's all I had for you. I hope you liked it. I hope we explained about the pixel and everything. If you have any questions, let me know. And I will see you next week on the next podcast. This was the Facebook Ads Breaking News Podcast. Like it or not, it is what it is.